Bones are amazing things. They hold us up. They support us. They make us strong. But bones have other uses. In the past, bones were thrown by diviners, seeking out the mysteries of the future. Now the bones are cubes, made of plastic or resin, but they still reveal things to us. As they fall from our fingers and rattle across the table, the story becomes clear. Welcome to Bone Throwers Theater, an RPG actual play podcast.
Welcome back to Bone Throwers Theater. My name is Aaron, and I play Sam Feluge.
I'm Ellie, playing Archie.
This is Jeff, playing Jerr Lan.
This is Johnny, playing Chine North.
And this is Jeremy, playing Julian Illix.
And I'm Jordan, and I am rebooting. Previously on Bone Throwers Theater, everybody wound up at the hospital by hook or by crook. Bear is being worked on by the four... What did I call them? The four elders?
The
elders.
Four and the elders.
Both referring to the same people.
So four elders are working on them. I would imagine that they call them the four as kind of a shorthand type of deal. Jerr
Yes.
and Chine
Hi.
and Julian all went into the hospital.
Yes.
They met up with a TV character. No, rephrase that. A character who might have been loosely inspired by a television character who's also a doctor. And they were told where to go to find Archie. Archie, meanwhile, has been air-gapped and is having a conversation with Sarani. So who wants to go next?
I want to learn doctory things.
Potentially, three of us are in the same place, right?
Yes.
Because they've taken everybody to the same place.
Yes.
Archie is the only one that is virtual in that place.
But physically there.
Physically there.
But not there in spirit.
So we can either have a
Astronaut
hospital
ice
scene
cream?
or outside the hospital
Or,
scene.
yes, it's rather binary.
So, I'm not going to lie, if you start with Sam, it's really boring. Sam's not moving from that spot, not going anywhere near that hospital, unless someone comes and drags Sam in which case Sam might put up a fight, depending on who comes to drag Sam in. Or Sam's just going to kind of sit there and watch the hospital and wait until Sam is confident that everything is copacetic.
I don't think Sam ever feels that way about anything.
Well, the only thing Sam might do would be to walk around the hospital. And so you mentioned that it looks like power has been restored in most areas of the hospital.
The more critical areas.
Sam would probably be kind of walking around looking and trying to see if anything is suspicious. Because Sam is still really suspicious about this this hospital because, Sam's been through some stuff. And in the end, in the reports that Sam has read, is that there was no way to restore the building that Sam had to go break into, and so they blew the building up. So that's what I would be doing. I would be patrolling, kind of keeping an eye on people who are coming in and out. Sam would even be suspicious of the bracelets that people are wearing, because those could have been tampered with.
Okay.
So that's where Sam's at. I'm investigating to see if anything is suspicious.
You're suspicious.
12.
Nothing seems suspicious.
Okay.
I mean, it's just people responding to an emergency situation. So there's a little bit of chaos, a little bit of running around, orders being yelled back and forth.
Are the unconscious bodies still unconscious?
Some of them are, yeah.
So there are still people laying around?
No, actually, they're stretcher crews going out and gathering them up and bringing them into the hospital for triage.
So Sam sees this triage thing?
Yep. Oh, the triage area?
Or the group running out and picking up bodies, and Sam would go searching through the houses for a body. For an unconscious.
For an unconscious individual.
Yep.
That you can babysit.
15.
For someone who was saying that they were going to do boring things, this is definitely not boring.
No.
It got interesting.
I don't know about interesting, but it's not boring.
We got not one.
Do I find a body?
Yes, you find a body.
Okay. So 3 is me. No, 3 is Jeff.
Oh, hi.
Hey, Shade.
You're Shade now.
Shade picks up the body on a piece of wind and starts swirling it around.
A piece of wind.
Yep. Yep.
Have you seen Soul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shade is now connecting to the deeper spiritual part of oneself.
I'm okay with that. I asked for a super powerful Shade, and if Shade becomes deeper connected with Shade, then Shade would be more powerful. So, Shade, what's wrong with him?
Just spinning the body. I don't know. Just having fun with him.
Is there anything going on inside of there?
I don't know. Doesn't have a heartbeat. I don't do computers very much.
What about, like, elemental-wise?
Oh, there's something in there. Still spinning the body around.
Why don't we, help out? Do we just go and pick some of these up and keep bringing them back to the hospital, and we'll just lay them out front?
We could do that.
You can keep playing with them on the way.
Okay.
All right.
You see Sam walking with a bunch of dead bodies just juggling in front of him.
Juggling dead bodies. Whoop, whoop.
So that's what Sam's doing. Sam is
Burying bodies.
searching, not touching. Sam is not touching any of these bodies. Sam is looking through the buildings and the streets, trying to find more unconscious bodies to lay them out in like a row in front of the hospital.
You're so helpful.
Does Sam find a gun?
No.
Okay.
It's a non-violent community.
Not anymore.
Okay. Yeah, that's Sam's activities.
Alright, meanwhile, inside the hospital with Sam's gun, what is everybody else doing?
Juggling dead bodies.
Not pulling out the gun. Talking to the doctors that are working on Archie.
Okay. They have some cylinders that emit high-pitched noises and glow on the end.
Cool.
They keep looking at them, but there's no discernible way to get readings off of them, but they seem to be getting information from them for some reason.
Is there any way that we can help?
Yes. So you're the individuals
Yes.
that came with the damaged units.
Yes, we're the ones who brought the units to you to fix.
Julian rounds the corner. It's like, units, her name is Katari, and what's wrong with her? And have she been treated yet?
We're working on the 3 that were brought here to the hospital.
One of those being Katari.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, one of those is a human.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've had to deal with human physiology.
I can help with that, being a healer myself.
The problem is not with the humans, with the elemental.
Yeah. How can we assist with curing or stopping this virus from spreading between elementals?
Well, you've already provided a lot of information by giving us a sample to study that's been outside of the organization, that has not had the virus. At least one water elemental. Did they study Shade at all? I don't think they did they?
They put the monitor on him.
So just having outside specimens is a most helpful because it helps us create a baseline, especially for those with organic components.
Okay, but what can we do now to move things along quicker?
These things take time. It's not something that you can just move along quickly. Medicine takes time.
How much time?
Well, that's indeterminate at this point.
Well, can you at least teach Jerr how to treat elementals?
Yes, I would like to learn how to treat elementals.
Okay, well,
I
And
have.
Julian takes the canister out of his bag, kind of doesn't slam it on the ground, but kind of abruptly puts it right in the middle of the conversation, and to get rid of them.
Yes, I would like to learn how to get rid of them as well.
what is that?
Trouble.
That's
It's-
Archie's elemental.
But not Archie's
Zuh.
elemental. It's an elemental from Consiglio that was put into Archie. It wasn't meant for Archie. This one in particular needs to go and cease to exist.
I concur with this.
This is what was told to us upon arrival. Yet, we've been running around like chickens with our heads cut off and not getting anything done but being attacked. We've been attacked more here in this preserve, this safe haven, than we have in the past 3 weeks in the wild.
And we were shot down out of the air by sky pirates.
So my understanding, Sarani told me, that there's actually a procedure to dispose of this elemental. That needs to happen.
Is it sick?
Is it sick?
It's evil.
It's evil.
But does it have the virus?
How am I supposed to know that?
Not to my knowledge.
But it was removed from
Archie.
Archie. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get this diagnosed, and we'll see what we can.
This does not leave my presence. So you're welcome to do whatever you want. I'm sticking with it.
As long as it dies.
Well, first off, we don't kill one of our kind.
This is not one of your kind. This is a subjugator.
We appreciate your concerns.
This one's truly wicked.
Appreciate your concerns, but we're going to have to make diagnoses ourselves, especially if this is one that was in a unit. Even if they are a subjugator, how to put this? There are adaptive tendencies between one that is inhabiting an organic casing and one that is inhabiting a mechanical casing.
How do you mean?
Well, there are when
Do they interact differently?
with the outside environment, most definitely. The stimulus input is completely different. So to go from an organic life form to a mechanical chassis is going to cause dissonance,
Well, that would definitely be the case here.
but that doesn't necessarily mean one is evil.
It was evil before.
It was wicked when it was in a human host.
Well, you guys know who the host was?
Choler.
What?
We suspect.
What?
No, I know. This is Choler's elemental.
Kill it. Kill it now. Kill it now. 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 Now.
Okay, well, you all seem to have some sort of history here, and you don't seem to be able to make a rational decision about this type of thing.
No, there's plenty of rationality behind our decision.
He has blown up many buildings, killed many people, tried to kill us several times.
This elemental has done its best to subjugate an entire peoples instead of just one person.
This elemental was forcing multiple elementals into a single person.
How's that possible?
The same way that they forced an elemental into the same chassis as the water elemental here.
No, the water elemental was removed before a fire elemental was put in.
Who was it that had multiple in our?
Abel. Abel.
No, I know Abel, but I'm saying in our group, you saw somebody that had
Multiple.
like water, air, and fire or something mixed.
It was Sam viewing the helmet.
Oh, that's what it
through
was.
the helmet out of the game. I suspect that what Jordan was trying to reference was the presence of the root virus.
Yeah.
Because it was through the helmet.
Yeah. That's what
Julian
it was
never
through
saw
the-
it, so and Sam never said
So-
anything to anybody about it. So
Because Sam would know that you've seen stuff like that.
Yeah. Alright. So, how do I kill this thing?
Well, actually, this specimen is going to give us a lot of information about the root virus.
Because it came from a human host and has been put into
Yes, exactly.
chassis.
So we have an integrational environment we can use to go ahead and diagnose and examine this elemental.
Alright.
while it's frozen.
No.
You let it loose, you're asking for trouble.
Well, it's not going to be loose. It's going right into basically a canister.
Does the canister actually trap it?
Canister inside a canister. I mean, it's in a canister, frozen canister right now.
Oh, it's in a fruit. I
no.
just thought it was a block of.
No, it's a
No.
frozen.
A block of elemental.
No, it's a chassis container.
But we can go ahead and thaw this and use this chassis mounted in the housing.
Mounted where?
Is it a mobile housing? As in, can it move?
No, it's like bolted into the wall.
Is it linked to any computers outside of the room?
No.
Julian reaches into his pocket, tosses Chime the lighter.
Time strikes it.
Julian puts his hand in the flame. Definitely got it. All I needed was an 8.
First time you've hit one of those rolls tonight, though.
Well, it's the first time it was assisted.
Assisted.
Mhm.
Assisted is much easier. Julian picks it up and hands it to the technician or whoever is there. It says it doesn't leave my sight.
Alright. Come along.
Points at Jerr. It's like, see about Katari.
I'm on it. I'm learning.
Okay. So they take you to not very far away. It's actually on the same floor. There's this large contraption that's like built into the side of the wall, like the how tiled walls in the hospital.
I go with them, by the way.
Okay. And it looks like it's like completely built into the wall. There's like 4 metal arms that come down and that clinch together. Left top, right top, left bottom, right bottom. And there are 4 circles, 4 rings of what looks like stainless steel, titanium, that kind of combination. And they slide it through. First they defrost it. They bring it back to room temperature. Pick it up with tongs, something that you might see in a blacksmith facility, and they slide it through those rings and they twist it, and you can hear like this locking mechanism as it catches onto grooves in the chassis core. Sit down at a computer and begin pulling up information and diagnostics and just begin working on it.
State of mind of the elemental as it's defrosted.
Sleepy. It's like groggy, waking up. It realizes it's still confined and it doesn't have any sensory inputs, so it seems to be getting agitated. You can sense that it's trying to burn its way through the core, but it seems to be holding.
Alright. Over at Katari, I want to go and do a heal check to see how she's doing.
Okay. Now you have to wear full PPE to go in to see her.
That's fine.
Like a positive pressure suit and all that.
Yep. I don't do very well because of the suit.
All you needed was an 8, right?
Well, he didn't get it.
What?
Rolled another 1.
Those wild die are not treating you well tonight.
Yeah.
I'm a healer. Let me help.
Oh no, I killed them. They're not in any pain anymore.
Not a 1. Much better roll.
On my second attempt,
He had trouble getting the suit on.
yeah, I like snugged up the gloves and, readjusted everything, and
Now you can see out of the hood
now I
properly.
can see out the hood properly, and I'm not like. And I got a 18.
Okay. She is in stable condition. Now that she is not in a...
Frozen wasteland.
now that she's in a more controlled environment, she is doing much better. It looks like her vitals are stabilizing. She still has a fever, but it is lower than it was before. It looks like they have her on a saline drip to keep her hydrated, and also to fill in like antivirals.
Okay. I'm going to keep my senses focused on her while they work on the root virus. See if I can catch what they're doing. Trying to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Asking them, so do you think that the antivirals will help with the elemental?
So one of the interesting things about the root virus is that not only does it affect the elemental, but it also affects the host.
Huh.
So if we can bring down the host issues, we can go ahead and then start working on the elemental. That's going to take a little bit more work, especially since it's been a long time since we've had to deal with anything in a organic receptacle.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try and help the healing of her with my heal others.
Okay.
I'm trying to help bring down the fever and
Okay.
help the physical body out.
Let's go ahead and say, let's set up a,
Skill check.
yeah, we're going to say you need 3 successes. If you can do that, then you might be able to get the fever to break,
Okay.
which would be a huge,
Huge boon.
yes. How many dice do you have in your medicine?
I got 4D in medicine. But with my heal others, it's 4D to get to 8, and then
And what's this?
I get plus 2D
Okay.
for
Okay.
it, so I get 60
So-
for the roll.
So at this point, what you're doing is you're setting up for higher dice.
Yes.
What's the target number for that?
8.
Okay.
Not as good as it could have been, but I still got it. 14.
So you got 14 to set up your higher dice percentage.
Yeah.
Dice number. Okay. Your target number for the successes that you're looking for? 18.
18. 19, 20.
1 success.
So, how does she respond to your treatment?
The color starts coming back to her face.
It had been
Somewhat.
like a sallow, pale, waxy kind of complexion, and it starts flushing back into a normal health.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely got it this time. 22, 26. This time, she stops moaning. Stops, twitching. Starts to calm down and be more relaxed looking. A little bit more color comes back to her face.
She starts breathing easier.
Yeah, starts breathing easier. 30, 34.
So her breathing has returned to normal. It looks like her fever has broken.
Sweet. This will have taken a few minutes. Having been healing her throughout the trip, I know her vitals pretty well to be able to adjust them as needed. Especially with the poison out of her system now.
I don't know what you're talking about. The poison saved her life.
Success.
What?
What?
No, it's your elemental.
Oh, my elemental said it? Yes, success. Her fever is broken now. Now, can you help me understand how to fight the root? Or how to tear the root out?
Water.
Water? Alright, opens up my canteen of water. Pulls it out. How do you need it?
Droplets start coming up into the air, followed by a thin trickle of stream, and goes around and pools on her hand around the IV line.
Okay. This is my elemental doing this?
Yes.
Okay. Talking to the doctors because they're probably wondering what I'm doing. I'm letting my elemental guide me in this. Do you have any suggestions of what to do to heal the root?
Not at this point. We were just trying to get her at a point where she was comfortable enough to begin really researching it. But so this is all new territory for us.
We were told that you could fix what's wrong with her
Well, yes, with time.
with time. She doesn't have a lot of time. I mean, I just healed her fever, but that doesn't mean that it won't come back. Do you mind if I work on her some more?
She seems to be responding to your care.
Alright. Gonna talk to my elemental. What next?
IV.
Pull out the IV? Use the IV. I pull out the IV.
The water stream seems to sublimate into the puncture on the back of her hand.
Alright. I help guide it in further and start feeling through the veins alongside the elemental with my mind.
You can feel the water interacting with the earth elemental.
That's a strange sensation.
It's time for a break. We'll catch you on the flip side.
At nerdstalking.com, we have explosions. We've got beautiful women, tropical locales, fast cars, money giveaways. Do you want a new TV? Just listen to it. You get a free TV. You want a DeLorean? You listen twice, we'll give you a DeLorean.
Chad? We can't afford any of that.
What do you mean?
It's too expensive.
Well, what are we supposed to do then?
We just talk. Nerdstalking.com!
Subscribe now.
Or else.
So it feels like the earth elemental has been flushed with water. Like, that's not supposed to be there. So it's muddy, it's sludgy, it's coagulating in the veins. Like the elemental resides in a lot of the sinus cavities, a lot of the
open areas.
The spongy gaps in the bones. And it's making this sediment that's making it harder for her to actually expand her thorax to breathe.
So I'm going to use my extra normal abilities.
Okay.
To try and make the water that's in there fluid again.
Okay.
To try and pull it back out. I got a 15. More water? Alright. I need more water. Call to the doctors. Is there a sink? Turn it on.
Yeah. Okay. So they turn on the sink.
And I pull the water from the sink. So you just see this stream of water
coming across the room.
And I need a bucket. I'm gonna flush it out. With a 14.
Would you like to spend a character point?
Yes. Well, I have 14, 18.
Good enough. So this water, it's moving through her body with a pretty high amount of pressure because it's going through a small IV puncture on the back of her hand. So it can only go in so much at a time, and water builds up pressure when it's compressed.
Yeah.
So it's going through, and you can feel...
I'm giving a sort of push and pull motion with my hand to try and push the water into the sediment and then pull it back out.
So yes, you're working
and
it.
Pulling, pushing and pulling.
Like a plunger.
Like a plunger.
I was thinking more like the tides receding.
Yeah, more like the tides receding. But, yeah. Flood her system with good, clean water.
Yeah. And as you pull it out, the stream of residue...
I was thinking of pushing it through and pulling it out somewhere else. Through her mouth or something.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So as I'm pushing water through the body's system to get the muck out, I'm pulling out the grotesque stuff and pouring it into the bucket.
Cool.
Until it starts running clear. And then I gently pull the water back out so that I'm not making her ill with water in her veins.
Right.
More water than is necessary. And I ask my elemental, is this right? Hope. Okay. You can turn off the sink now. I've done what I can. My elemental says there's hope now.
Well, we will keep her under observation for a while and see if she maintains healthiness.
I'll keep my eye on her too.
Archie.
Yes.
You open your eyes again after having heard Sarani speak your name. The table's been replaced. Instead of a table, it's a low coffee table with some love seats that are on opposite sides of the table. Overstuffed suede leather, some house plants arranged invitingly, up front on the coffee table. A small succulent on the coffee table next to one of the love seats. And Sarani is still sitting there holding a mug of tea. The colors have intensified quite a bit. Instead of looking like the pale pre-dawn light of the morning, it's starting to turn into quite the cornucopia of color.
I guess we're getting close to being finished.
We're getting close to interacting with the public. It might not be quite exactly the same.
Sarani, interacting with the public is not one of my strong suits.
It's not going to be that bad.
I see. Is somebody going to be waiting for us when we are finished?
Well, there's the technicians and the doctors.
Is he going to be waiting for us?
You mean Bear?
I meant they are. But you know what? I did meet a kid named Jerr. Archie is sitting and thinking for a moment. They were quite similar, But Bear had a lot more comebacks from me. Sarcastic fool.
That's interesting.
But yeah, I'm at BR. Not quite sure where this Bear kid is, though. Do you know Bear?
You could say that. There are some memories that still need to be reintegrated. So I think that we're going to have to hold off on that conversation until later.
I see. More information being withheld from me, I see.
Not withheld. Making sure that you heal in a proper, healthy, both physically and psychological manner. You know, you never used to be this suspicious before. You must have been hurt quite a bit when you were in Consiglio.
You know, I don't quite remember all of the pain, all of the damage. But there is this constant nagging in the back of my consciousness, making sure that I don't make the same mistakes, whatever those may have been. But I know for sure I won't be making any more mistakes.
That's a bold assumption.
Well, you know, Sarani, I keep having to ask questions when you didn't just sit here and actually tell me the information. I entered a dark room with your back to me? Almost symbolic, isn't it? Your back to me. The Sarani I knew, I would have entered this room and you would have told me the information. Right off the bat.
Something you can't see catches Sarani's attention right in front of her. And she reaches out with a finger and makes a swiping motion. I understand where your frustration is coming from. Unfortunately, I don't really have any good answers. There's only so much that we want to know. And only so much that we can't know. And sometimes those don't coincide. You know what? It's dicey to try and figure that out.
You know, I'm getting a similar feeling, almost like deja vu. Almost like I was sitting at a table in front of somebody who wouldn't give me the answers.
Do you remember who that was?
I just remember looking at myself. Almost a reflection. No answers given, but you know what I know? That there was fear.
Why?
Asking me questions as if I know any answers.
Well, do you think you were the one who was feeling the fear, or do you think the fear was coming from the other individual, if there was one?
It was almost as if they were feeding off of my fear.
So you think that whomever it was keeping you in a perpetual state of fear?
Most certainly. And it's almost as if...
Are you still feeling that? Do you feel like you're in a place where you have to remain fearful?
I'm fearful of the unknown. You know, I do remember something surrounding. I was constantly in and out of a state of knowing who I was, myself. And then, as if I wasn't myself, then I would almost gain a consciousness. I would have to, they would have to change me. Fire, you said? No, I said that, right? I had fire.
Were you supposed to have fire?
Of course. It was supposed to be air, I thought. No. Yes. Of course I'm water, right? You know that. All our missions together, you know that. They ended up having to use fire.
Did they have to, or did they force it? So here's something that I have been authorized to tell you. If one of us is programmed to be compatible with a certain elemental, and then for some reason a contra-compatible elemental is used, it causes enormous harm physically, psychologically, to our programming. So if there are any areas that you think is missing at this point, maybe that's areas that need healing. Maybe it's the areas that needs like the healing hands of a physician.
Did you just say? Say it again. Did you say healing? No.
Needing the healing hands of a physician.
Healing hands. It sounds a little familiar.
One of the people you were traveling with was a member of the organization that is called Healing Hands. Maybe two.
Archie shakes his head. I can only remember one. But I don't remember the healing hands of this one. He didn't like me very much.
You were in a dark place. Do not hold other people's emotions as your own responsibility.
Are there others?
Others?
Like me. In the same position. Are there others?
There have been in the past.
In the past 3 years.
We have lost other operatives. And unfortunately, I'm being kept in the dark about some of the information. They're not providing me with full data. They say that you're not ready enough.
Look, I'm out of tea. I can make my own. Just hand me some tea leaves.
They're right there on the table.
He fixes a ball. Wait. I don't have a source of water in here, do I?
You don't? I would think that you do. Try. Maybe you could even eat it yourself.
But, Serrani, where would I pull this water?
This is a simulation.
Archie lifts his left hand and flips over his hand and down pours water. Just like old times. And then you said, I can heat it up. He lifts his right hand, ignite, sticks his finger in, and warms the water. Look at that. And drops in the tea leaves, and bobs it for a bit, and hangs it over.
The chime sounds again. Well, for our next conversation, we'll have a nice warm cup.
I look forward to more answers, and sips his tea.
Those colors are getting really vibrant. Chime.
Yes.
Chime.
Yes.
Something that needs your attention.
Oh.
Canister in the wall over there.
Uh-huh.
Julian is just staring at it.
So is Chime.
His eyes are not like moving. He's just staring intently.
Actually, while we're staring at, I asked Julian, you're positive that's Choller?
Pretty sure.
Because you saw it before and you recognize it as Choller?
Yep. Saw it in the sewers before explosion. Connected with Archie right outside the animal preserve and recognized it.
You didn't think to tell me before now?
Not till we knew that there was going to be a potential solution.
Not happy, but I'll think about before I respond to your choices. So, we're not going to let them revive this thing, right?
Nope.
Okay. Well, we're in agreement there. It has to die.
1 second. Say that again. And he's gonna connect to the elemental.
Say what? That it has to die?
And in his head is like, I got somebody who's giving you a message right now. All this trying to melt your way through that casing, it's not gonna work. Everybody out here is saying it has to die.
You feel a hand tap you on the shoulder. Excuse me, Mr. North? Mr. Illix? So we have some good news. It looks like your friend has at least managed to heal Earth Elemental from the root virus. We're going to ask him to work on healing all the other elementals that are infected at the moment.
So you mean like healed? Like 100%? No more root virus?
Yes. And completely extracted. We have the patient under observation, but it looks like unless there's some sort of relapse, it looks like we found a cure.
Julian's gonna snap back and is like, fine. What about this one?
We can kill it now. You found a cure.
Well, no. First, we need to cure it.
Why?
No, first we need to kill it. Therefore, there's nothing to cure because it's dead.
We're not going to kill it.
No, we are going to kill it.
We are not going to kill it.
We are going to kill it. You don't seem to understand. This thing is going to die.
Without proper medical care, yes.
So if we do absolutely nothing, the elemental will die.
Yes.
I walk over, I grab it.
I brought it in here. It's in my custody. Give it to us.
No.
We'll be on our way.
I just grabbed it out of the machine.
You'll have to break through the metal bands to do that. Roll strength.
I will shoot the machine.
What elemental is in this chassis of this technician?
Oh, it's a fire elemental.
Oh, it's a quick switch then.
I rolled a 5 or 7 to pull against it.
Yeah, not budging.
All right, I pull out my gun and shoot it. Just the machinery.
Okay. How often you guys use shooting? He doesn't even know where it is on his sheet.
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
Under coordination.
Okay. That's my fault.
So since I've already connected to fire, would it be an easy switch, or would I have to attempt to the whole process from the start?
I don't think it would be that big of a deal.
Okay.
I rolled a 7. All right, I walk back over to.
You're not a very effective shot.
I walk back over to the technician.
I'm going to switch connection to that one's elemental and use persuasion on it. Try and convince it to.
That's with a. Oh, I was going to talk to the android at the same time, I guess.
I'm going to say, knowing what just happened outside, as Chime was walking back over, it says, Chime, this one needs a little persuasion.
I agree.
And we're going to do the same thing. Going to repeat to the elemental.
Right after I say it to
Yep.
the.
Right after he says it to the technician. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's a 6. 47.
16.
Okay.
So I'm listening to Chime talk to the android.
Look, the canister we brought in here needs to return with us.
Julian repeats this word for word to the elemental. The canister we brought in here needs to return with us.
If you continue to heal this,
If you continue
you're
to
putting
do
your
this,
entire
putting your
community
entire community
at severe
at
risk.
severe risk.
We want to take care of it to protect
We want to take
you
care of
as
it,
well
to
as
protect
ourselves.
you as well as ourselves.
Please remove the canister from the device.
You're going to remove the canister from this device.
You can take this up with the elders. I cannot stand by when someone has said that they are going to kill one of my species. I cannot stand by someone I have sworn to heal and hand them over to somebody who said that they were going to kill them. You need to talk to the elders, and they are busy working on resuscitating someone else you brought in. I do not trust either of you. In fact, I think you should leave the hospital right now.
How about you leave, go get your elders, and bring them here.
That's
we
not
are
how
not
it works.
leaving without this canister.
That's not how it works. You are here as a guest.
No,
Yes.
we are here to help you.
You are here as a guest.
You just said that one of our companions found a cure that you cannot find. And he would agree with us, this needs to die. And he is a dedicated healer.
Since Julian was watching, he saw how they locked it in so he could potentially know how to unlock it himself.
Not without a key.
Like a physical key.
Yes. To release it, you need an actual physical key.
Okay. Alright, well, I'm going to do the first thing that popped into Julian's head. He's going to roll persuasion again. I'm going to drop a fate point on this, and he's going to tell the elemental to power down.
Okay.
Need more dice.
I will.
Well, I'm not giving it to
16, 17, 18.
Do you need a second hand to roll dice for you?
You need a dice sheet. Here, here's a dice cup for you.
42.
Really?
On 14 dice?
18.
Oh, 18 dice.
Ooh.
Yeah. This is 1,
I
1,
know.
1, 2, 1, 1.
Yeah.
I mean,
You just don't.
a lot of 2s and
9
1s.
dice.
Done with my roll would still hit less than I did the first time.
Uh-huh. Just tell him to power down.
Okay. So it seems to freeze into position and its joints lock in place.
Immediately turns to Chime and says, we need to find a key.
Start searching the body.
And we start searching.
And we're going to go ahead and stop the episode there. So when we come back next time, the desperate hunt for keys, so you can begin alienating the one last bastion of hope and decency left in this godforsaken
There's
world.
no decency here.
Have a good one, everybody! Thank you for listening to Bone Throwers Theater. Our cast is Aaron, Ellie, Jeff, Jeremy, Johnny, and Jordan. We are releasing this podcast under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 3.0 Unported license. That means you can share the podcast, but please do not modify it or try to gain financially from it. If you would like to visit our website, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater.com. If you would like to send us an email, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is bonethrowerstheater. You can also look us up on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until next time, may the bones fall ever in your favor. This has been a Nerd Circle podcast production.